It's time for Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielson, Matt Cassian, and the goalie, Joaquin Gage.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a Monday episode, post-Super Bowl episode of Two Guys and a Goalie. Nielson, Gager, Kass, and Salas with you. Thank you very much for being here. Once again, Two Guys and a Goalie is brought to you by our friends at CoolBet Canada. Sign up for an account today. Just go to coolbet.com, put in the bonus code 2GUYS, the number 2 in the word guys, and you will get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to $200. Gager, how's the weekend, my man?
Super good, man. Super good. Super Bowl weekend's always kind of fun, right? Friday, starting it off right with a big win for the Oilers there, and all the speculation of Stanley Cup bound with the new coach. So it's good. Good. Can't wait to see what happens tonight.
We will we'll dive into that Super Bowl halftime show and keep it or clip it a little bit later on for sure. We definitely got to get to that. We'll talk some Valentine's Day and keep it or clip it today as well. Kass, how was your weekend? Did you guys have any special eats? Did you do a spread for Super Bowl or what? Kass, I think you're muted. What happened? We were talking to you 2 seconds ago. Hernan, did you do a spread?
Yeah, we had it's when you go to M&M meat shop, it's man, you spend a lot of money there. So the wings were a big hit in the air fryer. Oh man, you get them extra crispy. So yeah, it was fun,
you're loving that air fryer, hey buddy?
Oh, I love it. I got my parents one too, because I was like, you guys have to use this now going forward. So no, it's overall a good weekend. Like Gager said, it was nice to see the Oilers play a good game on Friday, and then the weekend just relax, and the Super Bowl was just as good. So relaxing weekend for sure.
All right, let's check with Kass again. Kass, you there?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me
now? Yes.
I don't know what was going on. I didn't change anything. Like
that was weird.
Anything, nothing. It was good. Went and saw some friends. Did a little southern Super Bowl. So had my friend Jeff, and they actually lived down in Houston for a couple of years when I was down there. One of my good buddies, and so he made a nice little smoked pulled pork shoulder.
Fancy.
We made some queso, so we had some queso over there. I actually thought of you guys as I was eating it. I'm like, they still haven't tried this.
We always want that queso.
It was really good. And then Jeff's wife Christy made some nice southern cornbread. So it was like full on like southern Super Bowl food. So it was solid. It was a good day.
Who are you guys cheering for at a southern Super Bowl?
I just wanted the Bengals to win.
Yeah.
Like I figured LA would win. LA was my pick to win, but my heart was with the Bengals. So I wanted to see them win. So it was a little sad that they couldn't get the job done. But yeah, I mean, my horses were out of it. You guys know I'm a Packers fan, so that was gone. And then the secondary team we cheer for is Kansas City, because Mahomes is a Texas Tech guy, and my wife went to Texas Tech, so she likes cheering for him. So both our teams were out of it. So it was, I didn't care who won. I just kind of wanted Cincy to win.
Yeah, I obviously, as a Detroit Lions fan, my horse was out of it 4 months ago, and there's no alum from Lethbridge Community College playing in the NFL, so I don't have any ties there. So I was just hoping that Matthew Stafford could win a Super Bowl, and it was nice to see that happen. But we'll get to the halftime show a little bit later on. We had a big trade this morning in the National Hockey League. Let's start there, boys. The Montreal Canadiens moving Tyler Toffoli, 2 years left on his deal, still just over $4 million. He goes to the Calgary Flames in exchange for a first, a fifth, a prospect, and Tyler Pitlick to make some of the money work back the other way. Kass, let's start with you, buddy. What do you think of the Flames going out and bringing in Toffoli in first rounder? Pretty significant price, but at the same time, good player that they just got. What do you think of the deal?
Yeah, real good player. And this after we just talked about how we didn't think Calgary was going to be that active, or they're going to be about as active as Edmonton, which is like maybe get a depth player for the run. But yeah, that's a huge pickup for the Flames, and it wasn't cheap. That's not cheap to get a guy for that many picks, and man, but he does, I think, make the Flames a lot better. You know, he's a guy that has playoff experience. He understands what it takes to win, how you need to play, and he scores goals, which is something that the Flames, I don't want to say they desperately need, but they're a lot better for it. You know, their depth just improved dramatically. So a big pickup for Calgary, and a nice job of getting that trade done. And I think a good return for Montreal in terms of what the asking price was. Like you pick up quite a bit. You know your season's done, and you know that you need to build for the future, and you get some more draft picks. And it's, I don't know. I thought it was a good trade for both sides, but expensive for the Calgary Flames.
Yeah, I think both teams kind of win in this situation. I probably like it a little bit more for Calgary, to be honest with you, than Montreal. But Gager, where do you come out on this?
Yeah, it checks a lot of boxes. First, we're all outsiders, not insiders, thinking that Calgary's not going to make a splash, like Kass said. And the fact that Toffoli's had Sutter as a coach before, I think really helps. Just going into kind of that situation with Sutter, he knows what's going to be expected of him. So, and this guy just scores goals in big time situations. Look at him last year scoring. I think he had one series clinching goal and a couple overtime winners. Like, man, that's scary for the Flames. Getting into the playoffs now and having someone who can score some goals like that. They're looking scary. I might have to reevaluate my picks coming out of the Pacific Division now, because we'll have to see what Mr. Eichel can do with the Knights here. But man, the Flames are looking like a good team.
Hernan, I'm going to give you the projected line combinations and see what you think. I mean, maybe this is how it works. Maybe it isn't. But Lindholm between Tkachuk and Johnny Gaudreau, Backlund with Toffoli and Coleman, and then you could go Monahan with Dubé and Mangiapane, and then you're basically running Lucic and Lewis and Ruzicka on the fourth line if you want. That's a pretty good top nine. Like, if your third line is Dubé, Monahan, and Mangiapane, that's a pretty deep group up front.
Yeah, like two guys in Monahan and Mangiapane that play top six for most of their career. So that definitely increases the depth. And I'm just seeing on Twitter Eichel skating on the first line in Vegas. And I know people are going to be like, man, Kenny Holland, how did he not get the Foley? But keep in mind, they already picked up Evander Kane. He's a pretty good forward as well. So I think what should be the top three teams in the Pacific have all added some significant top six help. So good on Calgary, man. I mean, I still have them in Vegas fighting for first spot, and this edition only makes them that much better. And the first rounder going back, you knew that would be involved. And I don't know much about the prospect boys, so, I mean, that could be hit or miss. But I kind of like it both sides. I think Montreal got some good return, and Calgary gets a legit goal scorer for the playoff run.
All right, so there you go. Calgary Flames, Montreal Canadiens. That might be it for the Flames. I mean, maybe the Flames had something else, but that's a pretty big piece and a pretty hefty price to pay. On the other side with Montreal, they might just be getting started as far as unloading some guys go. Toffoli out. Who's going to be next? I would think a lot of teams who might be in a similar position to Calgary, maybe some of those teams in the East that are fighting and know they're going to have to go through each other, might be a phone call or two that's put into the Montreal Canadiens here at some point. It's Two Guys and a Goalie. It's brought to you by Coolbet Canada. If you're watching on the live stream, you've not yet subscribed to the podcast, please just go and search Two Guys and a Goalie on all your podcasting platforms. Find us and give us a sub there. Apple Podcasts, if you want to give us a nice little 5-star rating or leave a comment, that would go a long way as well. Lots to get to, guys. Our first look at Woodcroft on Friday night. And, I'll go first here with what we got to talk about it, because I know we all want to dive into some sort of unique aspects of it, but I'll just talk bigger picture here. I thought McDavid and Draisaitl set the tone from an intensity level on Friday night. I think everybody else came along. I like the way Woodcroft went with 11 forwards and 7D, kind of could, ease the pressure on some of those young defensemen, and at the same time rotate some guys through there with McLeod and Benson, which I didn't mind. Obviously, you got a huge performance from Mike Smith, but I like the pace of that game. Like, it seemed much quicker than a lot of the other games they played, and they weren't trying to keep up. Like it was a game where they were dictating that high pace a little bit. So my first impression of Jay Woodcroft was, I know they still gave up a lot of shots, but I thought that team came to play for him maybe more so than they had over the last couple of months. Gager, let's start with you, buddy. What do you think of the first impressions of Woodcroft?
Well, after the game, I looked at the ice time and how he distributed that amongst the lines, and because, like you said, Dusty, that was a pretty quick game overall. And it seemed like everyone was a little bit more engaged. You're going to get that with the coach, obviously, a change of coach, but I thought the fact that having everyone contribute a little bit more, distributing the ice time, and we've been talking about this for a long time. We think that's one of the keys for the Oilers is to make sure everyone's maybe the top guys aren't getting as much, lower their minutes a little bit, especially going down this stretch. But I like that, and Mike Smith was the old Mike Smith from a year ago too. Like he was battling, he was jumping all around in there and focused, and he dove on the one little thing there and threw the helmet off and stuff. Always looks good with the hair, kind of WWE stuff. But like everyone's saying, oh, he played great. But man, that's just NHL goaltending. That's top 10 NHL goaltending. That's what's expected, man. He's going to have to play like that moving forward for the Oilers to have any sort of success. So great on Woodcroft. Like to see the communication on the bench, and everyone seemed like there was a lot of nodding the heads. Yes. So great communicator, probably just from being in the minors for that long with the young guys and having some faith in some younger guys that he's had been able to coach a little bit in the minors. So yeah, good start. He's going back to a place where he's been before tonight, so familiarity there, and hopefully they have a good trip.
Kass, I thought the interesting point there, Gager made, communication on the bench. Your first impressions of him, and how much can that communication, especially, when you're kind of just taking the bench over, I'm sure it's important, but is that something you expect kind of continues with him and Manson?
Well, the jury's still out for me on it, because I still think you're caught up in the emotion of the change. Like you get a week to a week and a half here of that just high level emotional change as far as Draisaitl and McDavid coming out and leading the jump and having more intensity. That's something that's great. What's Woodcroft going to have to do a week and a half from then? So really another week from now to be able to pull that out. Is that something that he's able to do with his communication, or is that just something that was because of the coaching change? And that has yet to be seen, I think, for this group. As far as the communication goes, what's interesting to me about what Jay Woodcroft may be able to do is Dave Tippett has been in the NHL for a long time. And we all know that Dave Tippett loves his guys. He loves the old guys. He defers to them. He gives them all kinds of rope. He lets them kind of run the show a little bit. And I don't know if Woodcroft's going to do the same thing. Like, I think, young guys maybe feel that he can communicate better with them, or they have more of a chance at an opportunity with him. So it'll be interesting. And again, same thing with the communication on the bench. Is that something that we're just going to see more of early on, or is this going to be something where he just continues this forward? So I don't know. I'm still uncertain on it and the long-term effects of what it's going to be, but I do hope that him communicating on the bench and being vocal is, something that's positive, because I think it could help in engaging everybody in a group that at times becomes disengaged.
Hernan, what popped out for you first game?
Yeah, a lot of what the guys have said, the effort, but it's a new coach. You like, if they didn't come up with that kind of effort, you would have been like, what's going on here, right? But not just the effort as a whole, but Leon Draisaitl diving to break up a play at his own blue line. Like when the other guys see that, they're like, holy smokes, our best players are doing this. Another thing I noticed, I know we talked about it before where the guys were finishing their checks, but I think, Dusty, it only lasted for like a period where this game, everyone was finishing their checks, from McLeod to Kane to Connor McDavid. It was awesome. So, they got that coach bump. They were feeling good. The deployment, like Gager said, I think was the biggest thing you took away from it. If you look at the ice times, it was a good game plan. So Good start, but I'm also with Kass where we've seen this team feel good about each other for one game and then they completely fall off. So we got to see this on a consistent basis going forward. But a good start, Dusty. I mean, you prefer that over anything else right now.
Yeah, got to sustain it, but it's off to a good start. And some players might benefit more than others. And Kass, let's talk about that a little bit right now. What do we got to talk about with you, man?
I wanted to talk about our whole favorite player, Jesse Puliarvi. Finally gets off the schneid, gets a big goal, diving, sprawling, using that big frame. Has a good night for the first time in a while on the score sheet. I really think that Jay Woodcroft is going to do wonders for his confidence right now, because we had seen at the start of the year, Dave Tippett put a lot of faith in Jesse Puliarvi. We'd seen him have a lot of success where he was creating offense. He was at the front of the net. He was involved in the play. He was playing well. And I think, post him getting COVID, he just, it seemed to struggle, didn't have the same type of jam and wasn't able to get to the same areas of the ice. And now that he's, I don't want to say he was in the doghouse with Tippett, but I don't know if he was going to get the benefit of the doubt or extra opportunity from Tippett. And I think from Jay Woodcroft, he's going to get that. And I think starting off and having a really good game with the first game with a new coach is going to do just massive, wonderful things for his confidence. So I'm expecting, and even if we look at the lines from practice the last couple of days, where it's looking like he's going to get some more opportunity here and some more ice time. And I just think it's going to do wonders for his confidence. And that's something they need. They need Jesse Puliarvi to be playing well, whether it's on the first line or third line. He needs to be going. And it was a great start to the Woodcroft era for Jesse Puliarvi to be able to get an opportunity and to build some of that confidence that he just, I think, really desperately needed, just especially on the finishing side. It's not, and we talked about it wasn't like that was like, the skating down the wing, taking a big clapper, burying it. It was like a gritty, greasy goal in front of the net. And that's the type of goals he needs to score. He's going to have some of the clappers. Great. But, he first and foremost needs to be a player that's in front of the net, around the net with his big body. And it was an example of him doing that. And I think just a great building moment for the rest of the season for Jesse Puliarvi.
And Kass, just to add to your point with the confidence, did you guys notice the power plays they did get? Who was the first guy in front of the net? Jesse Puliarvi.
Yeah,
right?
He also had that nice rush on the power play too there, where he went right up the ice around the defenseman and took a shot on goal. I thought it was pretty evident. Like he looked like he had more confidence just on Friday compared to what we'd seen recently. And I don't know if that was Woodcroft, just putting him back up with McDavid's win is one thing, but I wonder if Woodcroft chatted with him and said, hey, we're putting you back up with McDavid. We like you there. We think your ability to go in and knock pucks loose is something that's going to work. We know the numbers. McDavid produces better 5-on-5 when he's got him on his wing. Gager, what'd you think of Puliarvi on Friday and what Kass thinks about some possible confidence boosts here for the kid?
Yeah, after hearing Kass, what you said, it reminds me of certain players that I played with that maybe in the same type of situation as JP with a coach and starting the year off okay and doing well. And then, there's peaks and valleys throughout the year and hadn't been playing well. And it almost seemed, and it could have been COVID, but it just seemed like he had lost the faith of the coach. And with Tippett, that's a tough thing to get back, I think, at certain times. And I think he's kind of the type of player that's going to benefit mostly from Woodcroft, because if you have having a bad game with Tippett as I don't want to say a bubble player, but maybe a younger guy, I think there's a demotion pretty quickly. Whereas with Woodcroft, I think you're going to get a few more kicks at the can, and he's just used to bringing people up a little bit more, and instead of Tippett just going with the old guys if one of the young guys makes a mistake. So quite possibly he had a discussion with him, because he did look really good. I mean, if Tippett's on the bench, I don't think we see Jesse going on a rush on the PP and going in and taking a shot on himself and trying to score like that, right? So hopefully you see more of that. I mean, that's just another weapon. He's capable of doing those things. And I think if we look back at the first few months of the season, even he was carrying the puck through the neutral zone.
He was doing that a lot more back then. You're right.
Way more. And instead of, most of the time looking for 29 or 97 and getting rid of the puck, right? So I think that's a good thing. That's a really good thing for him.
All right, from one young Finn to another. Hernan, what do we got to talk about, buddy?
Yeah, Marcus Nimalene in his second call-up played his first game. In the first and in the second, he lined up a hit. He just missed. He would have blew up the Islander player. And then Russ Johnson tries to line him up behind the net, and he just hit a wall. I love that he went after Casey Sasikas with a solid hit. Martin tried to grab him. So I guess what I'm saying is, you heard Tippett talk about it. You've heard some Bakersfield Condors guys that cover him say, like, it's the puck skill that's kind of holding him back a bit, but he's still young. He can work on that. But I just think the element he brings in the physicality and the way he hits players, I think this guy has to stay up here. Now, I don't know if he's an everyday guy, but I think for me, he definitely has to be in the rotation because he makes you keep your head up. And the Oilers don't have a lot of that or any of that without Marcus Nimalene. And so for me, I think the puck skills, you can work on that and get better in that. It's not like he's terrible. He can still pass a puck and make plays, but I think with the way he hits guys, he has to be up here for the rest of the season.
It was the first time where you saw a guy. Well, he hits people with ill intentions too. Like there's
Yeah.
he's trying to hurt them when he hits people, which is, I hate to say it, it's really nice to see. But it was the first time that I saw an Oilers all season hit a guy, and it drew a reaction from the four other players on the other team, and they all went after him. And that's like we talk about Cassian being kind of the shit disturber and getting under people's skin. Like it's not even, you don't even have to stick guys or do, like, you just have to finish your checks and do something hard like that. You saw, I don't know who it was on the Islanders, but like 3 other guys went and tried to cross check him and do something right after, because he hit someone so hard. Like, and it was a clean hit. But to have someone, the Oilers are in desperate need, especially on the back end, to have someone that hits like that and can kind of, get people off their game a little bit just with his physical play. Like he said, Nando, he's got to be in the lineup in some shape or form moving forward, because the Oilers just don't have anything like that on their team as of right now. The Canes does a little bit of that on the forward side, but on the back end, he's the only one with ill intentions back there.
Kass?
I love it. I love it. I think in Huge Wiener Gazzola asked me this in the post-game show. He asked, like, what do you do with the defense then, like, when Russell starts coming back? And I think you keep Niemelainen in here and you rotate him through the lineup depending on who you're playing against, depending on how the other defensemen are playing. But for right now, like, you look at those other defensemen on the left side, and I would much rather have Niemelainen playing and in the lineup and throwing those type of hits, because you don't need him to play in the power play. You can try to protect him a little bit 5-on-5 against some of the top guys, but let the kid run people over. Let him run people over and let him be mean in front of the net, and let him just cause some of that. Like, you want to talk about being difficult to play against. That's one of the areas you can be difficult to play against.
Thank you.
Like, it really is. It's like, guys have to know, because if he keeps doing that, and players may not know it right now because he's an unknown for a lot of guys that are NHL players. They're not aware of him, or they maybe ask questions in the dressing room. But sooner or later, the message is going to be out that it's like, hey, when he's on the ice, you got to have your head up, because he's going to try to run you. And if you try to step wide on him, he's going to try to drop his hips and put you through the wall. And in the corner, he's going to try to put you through the wall. And all of a sudden, it's a little bit more difficult to play, because you're thinking about, I might get run over. Not just, I don't want to turn the puck over. Not just, this guy's going to play hard defense on me. It's like, well, no, he's going to play defense on me, and he might run me through the wall. So I got to get my head up. And now all of a sudden, I'm not thinking about my next play. I'm thinking about how I don't want to get just absolutely hammered. So I love it. Right the first time we saw him earlier this year, because we didn't really know much about him, I loved his physicality, and I loved it again the other day. I think it's great. So I want to see more of him. Want to see him in the lineup. And if he's a guy that can work on his defensive consistency and getting the puck to the forwards in that first pass, like, he could be a really, really good, I'm not going to say 3-4 guy yet at this point, haven't seen enough of him, but if he can bring that physicality and be a guy that can play in your 5-6, great. I absolutely love it.
There's nothing wrong with that, right? Like, we've always talked about it. They're always rotating different guys. So if he becomes a crasher and banger and a guy who can be reliable on your third pair. Perfect.
He's finding, he's bringing something that the Oilers don't have. And guys, in 8 games, he's 8th on the Oilers in hits.
In
He's
8
got
games.
43 already in 8 games.
Yeah, he
And-
hits guys, and they stick when he hits them. It's not like just hitting to separate.
Yeah.
As you said, like he hits with ill intent, and that's one of the things I love about Kane is on the forecheck is like he's not just going to finish his check, like he's trying to run you through the wall, and I love it. And I love that Niemelainen's doing that back end. It's a area that the Oilers haven't had very much of this year, and some other guys that have the capacity, like a Darnell Nurse, he doesn't or he can't because he's playing against the top guys and he can't take himself out of position. Like he's gotta play responsibly enough that he can't do it all the time. Although there are some instances where I wish he did a little bit more, like physically, because he has the capacity to, especially like in front of the net where he could just be a little bit more greasy. Darnell Nurse could, and we've seen him do it. So it's like I know he can. But he's not a guy that you need to be in the penalty box, that you need to be taking runs at guys. Niemelainen fits the bill perfectly, which is, again, I love it.
Yeah, Nemo hits people with total disregard for the puck and human life. I love it.
Yeah. And you know what? That's okay because guys know that. And again, the word is going to spread, and people are going to be like, they're going to be thinking not about the next play. They're going to be thinking about like, I might get absolutely run over, and all of a sudden, you're getting a pass that's a little bit, where your head has to be down a little bit, or you're looking back a little bit, and all of a sudden you're like. You're thinking about it a little bit more because you're like, well, even if I catch this puck, I'm just going to get absolutely run over. And every once in a while, it's going to happen, and it's I don't know, it's great. I love it.
Dusty, just some lineup news coming down. It looks like the Oilers might go pretty good idea that they're going to go 11-7 again.
Yeah,
no lineup changes, and then Skinner's gets the start tonight.
Okay, so we've got the Skinner news we can get to, and I was going to throw it out there next, just on this whole Niemelainen sort of conversation. Kass, do you like 11-7 for the way this lineup is looking right now, or where do you come out on that?
I guess I do, and I don't. I get why you don't want to change it. You won a game, so you're not going to change the lineup. Totally fine with that.
That's a first.
Do like having. I like having 12. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's something. There we go. That's something that's going to be a little bit different as you keep a winning lineup. I understand why, especially with the defense, and especially since you're going to have, your Cody Cece's of the world and Darnell Nurse playing a ton of minutes. Like those guys are going to, again, today, they're going to play a lot of minutes. And so it just enables you to spread out the time for the other players a little bit more and to insulate anyone that's not having a good night, right? Because if someone's not playing well, you have the ability, and Manson has the ability to sit someone down and to really protect them. And then you still have 6 guys going that you can get out there. So I get it. I don't like doing it all the time. I think it's more situational. This situation to me makes sense. You won a game. You went with this lineup before. You're going to go with it again. You're still, have some injuries to like Duncan Keith out of the lineup, and you want to have some flexibility in the back end with your young guys. So I get that. So yeah, I'm all board for it for right now.
Gager, quickly, Skinner tonight. What do you think of him in the first half of back-to-backs, or thoughts on his start tonight?
Well, it's tough to say because Mike Smith played so well last game.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
It's funny. I in my mind, I like it because I think it's overdue. I think he should have played well before this. But I now I got a flip flop with my thinking. I think Mike Smith should have started this game just because of his play last game and the fact that he's going to be needed for the Oilers moving forward and to get his game back. I fully expected Mike Smith to have a good game here or there, but it's the getting back into the rhythm of things and doing it. 3 games just isn't going to cut it. I think this would have been a good opportunity to give him the ball again and let Skinner have the next one. But maybe it's a coaching thing to think, okay, this is the first game. We got it back-to-backs.
Yeah.
Give Skinner the rested one. Don't put him in on the second one where maybe guys are a little bit tired, things like that. We want his confidence too. Maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe they're looking at the possibilities of Skinner Smith moving forward I who knows what this is. I think it's a good opportunity to get all three guys going, I guess, and I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully he can put together one of his good games.
Before we get to keep it or clip it, Gager, what do we got to talk about, buddy? What do you got? Where do you want to go?
Well, I was thinking, I'm not a huge fan of the tributes to players playing 10 games with an organization and getting traded and coming back for the video montage. But I don't know if we'll see one of those for Kane this evening in San Jose. Maybe just a statement of just that we're not going to pay you any money with his current legal troubles with the San Jose Sharks and do something along that lines. It'd kind of be funny, actually. But no, I wish Chris Abbott was on the show today so we could get see if they are going to do a tribute or not to him.
That would be something. Hey, you're being sued by this man, but thank you for your services here for 3 seasons, right? Like,
so probably not going to see anything. You heard him talk about knowing how these guys play. From all accounts, there's still some bad blood between some of the guys in that dressing room. So let's look for a couple face washes, maybe a couple sticks to the backs of the legs. There'll definitely be some finished checks. I think this is going to be a really physical game. I think Evander's going to bring a few more guys into the fight tonight. I'm curious to see A, if there's a tribute, and B, what's going to happen outside the whistles.
Cass, do you think there's any way they do a little tribute video for him?
No.
No chance. Okay. I don't know. I just thought maybe.
No. I mean, it would be funny if they did. What if they did like a sarcastic one? Where it was just like everyone knows that they're doing it for the sake of doing it, and they make it like really bad. Like it's a horrible tribute. Like, what if they just show clips of him like getting hit and like getting punched or something? That would be awesome. I would love that. They're not going to, but that'd be
funny though. That would be funny.
They should have superimposed him on the old Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with DJ Jazzy Jeff getting thrown out of the house.
Oh, that would be funny, actually. All right, let's get to keep it or clip it here on this episode of Two Guys and a Goalie. Let's start with this one. I think I probably know where you guys are going after the discussion we had a little bit earlier on, but the Calgary Flames have the best chance of knocking off Vegas in the Pacific. Keep it or clip it.
I'm going to keep it. I think the edge goes to them in goaltending. Now with that forward group, I mean, it's going to be curious to see what the Knights do when Eichel comes back and readjusting their roster for cap issues. Maybe next show we should talk about maybe there's someone the Oilers can go after on a lower end, because the Knights will be looking. It'll be tough within the division, but who knows? A 3-way thing. But yeah, I think. After this, with Toffoli's proven record, you can't beat Stanley Cup champion experience going into the playoffs. I'd give them the edge, yeah, for sure. Keep it.
I'll keep it too. I mean, yeah, like the goaltending is pretty close too, but it's gonna be great when Eichel's there. Like, this is gonna be a hell of a matchup going forward, so I'll keep it.
Yeah, it's a tough division, really tough division. They probably have the best chance right now, I think, with the Toffoli addition, a little bit more depth to your scoring. But this is still pre-Eichel, and he's going to be back soon. And if he's 3/4 of the player he normally is, and if, I think for all the qualms about, Eichel was a problem in the dressing room and he wasn't the leader in Buffalo and this and that, you have the insulating players in Vegas, like a Stone and like a Pietrangelo, that are going to pull him along, and where he doesn't have to be the guy leading in the room. He just got to be a guy that leads on the ice from a playing standpoint. So, yeah, Vegas is going to be really, really good. Calgary, I think, if I look at how the team plays, may have the best matchup to try and beat them right now.
I'm going to say right now, on Valentine's Day 2022, we are just a few months away from a Battle of Alberta in the playoffs. I think we're going to get in that 2-3 hole in the Pacific, and I think it's going to be Amazing. I think that'll be great. All right, let's go to last night's halftime show. Was the best one of all time. Keep it or clip it.
You know, I'm gonna have to keep it. My wife and I, she couldn't wait to. It's the great watching football with my wife. By the way, her commentary. I could have had a show on it. She's hilarious. But
she should do a show with my son. Those two would be hilarious.
Oh my gosh, it's great. No, I knew every song. I knew it after name that tune. I knew it right away. There's all the memes today. If you really like this, you're in your 40s or whatever, and you had the CDs in your car and stuff like that. But yes, yeah, I enjoyed it. It was awesome. It was the best.
I'm extremely biased because that's like junior high school for me. Like West Coast Snoop Dogg for me especially. Like that guy's so damn cool. Like I absolutely love Snoop Dogg. So yeah, for me, I'd say it's the greatest because it's what I listen to. But there's so many good acts, boys. Like Prince was fantastic too. So it's up there for sure. But I'll say one right now.
I gotta keep it as my favorite. But it's funny. My wife was saying this, so I got to give her credit. Where she's just like, you remember back when we were younger, and they'd have like, I don't know, like Aerosmith or somebody doing the halftime show, or even like a Prince, and we're just like. And our parents or my dad would be like, yeah, like that was awesome, like so classic, so good, like that was the best. And I was just like, it's because you're old. Now we're the old ones. Yeah. Right? It's like now we're old, like all the kids are like, I don't even know who these people are. Who are these guys? Dr. Dre's a real person? Like I thought that was just a brand of headphones. I didn't know that was a real person. Man, but I loved it. Like I just had a smile the whole time. It was great. Like
goosebumps, yeah.
It was awesome.
You know what? That's the best way. Tammy and the kids kind of sat up on like the ottoman, and I was kind of just sitting back on the couch. And I don't know if I've smiled for 12 straight minutes, but I smiled for 12 straight minutes. I was just like you can remember, like, it was awesome. I absolutely loved it. And look, Snoop's only 50. Like we might get this again in 10 years, right? Like who knows? We'll see what happens. But as far as
the best, I don't know if you guys.
Eminem's 49.
Eminem's 49. He's only a year younger 49. Than Snoop. No way. That can't be true. Yeah,
he's 49. No, we looked. We were like, I wonder. He's got to be getting up there too. I was like, I think he's around 50. Like, and yeah, he's 49. We checked.
Oh my God.
He'll be 50. He'll be 50 in October.
Eminem's only 1 year younger than Snoop. This makes no sense to me right now. Wow.
Snoop's lived hard.
Yeah,
Snoop has lived hard. He a lot of stuff in his body.
When you look at, I mean, I know he's done
juice.
He's done some pretty bad shit along the way in his life, but if you're looking at like coolest people to ever walk this planet, Snoop's got to be in like the top 10, I would think, like just with the way he carries himself. An outfit.
I think I drank gin and juice for a full solid year after that song too. So
you guys see the video on Twitter? He's
of course.
Smoking his dub right before hitting the stage.
Snoop smokes weed before he does anything, so it didn't surprise me there. Gager, I was in university, and I was just like, I'm gonna drink gin and juice just like Snoop. And every time I did it, I just have orange juice and gin, and I would cry. Like I just emotionally get drunk and break down and be bawling. Like every time the boys are like, you got to lay off the gin and juice, Dusty. Like it's just not your thing. It was bad. Just tears.
Is that what you're drinking on your flights back to Toronto?
Yes, I also drink gin and juice and watch anything, and I cry like a baby. 4 of 6 possible points versus the 3 Californian teams this week would be considered really good for the Oilers. 4 of 6. Is that really good? Keep it or clip it?
Keep it.
Keep it. These are teams they got to catch and stay ahead of. Like, yeah, this is a really big weekend for the Oilers. I think they got to be, well, obviously the old adage, one game at a time, but these are 3 beatable teams, I think. And this is really important for them.
Oh yeah, keep it 100%. Like that would be huge. That'd be huge. Yeah, big. Now, I think more important, obviously, to get wins against like LA.
Regulation.
And,
LA, yeah.
In regulation,
Yeah.
the teams you're chasing.
Yeah.
But all three are still big games, huge.
Last one. Valentine's Day is an important day for married couples. Keep it or clip it.
Clip it. Depends on the length of the marriage.
Okay.
That's I think in the beginning, there's stuff that needs to be done. As you move on, I think you can get away. You can go maybe a year on, year off, or switch where one person does it for the other person, then back again. I don't do shit.
I don't know. It's important. A lot of people think it is, so I'll keep it. I mean, we're not big on the Valentine's Day. Like, we're not big on the Valentine's Day. Mother's Day is the big one in our house.
Yeah.
That's a big one for us. So I'd rather put my creative efforts into that one than Valentine's Day.
Yeah, for Tam and I, Valentine's Day has kind of been surpassed by our anniversary now that we're further along in the marriage. So, yeah, I got her a $15 gift card to Starbucks and a card for Valentine's Day. So I thought that was nice. Her dad, you're not married yet, even though we've been pushing you to get married multiple times on this podcast. So, yeah, Valentine's Day is probably still big for you guys, I would think. Like, I
agree with all of you.
Oh, okay.
We went for dinner on Saturday because I have to work tonight. So, it's still big for sure.
Well, let's just make sure that those wedding plans are in Vegas. We'll do it real quick, Hernan, and coincide with the F1 race in Vegas. Okay, that's
wouldn't that be something? God, that'd be good. All right, boys, that's going to do it for another episode of Two Guys and a Goalie. Oilers play tonight and tomorrow night, and then we will obviously be talking about it on Thursday's episode. If you're not yet signed up for an account at CoolBet, go to coolbet.com. Stay cool, bet responsibly. Sign up for an account using the bonus code 2Guys. You get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to $200. So if you deposit $100, they'll give you a bonus $100. If you deposit $200, you'll get $400 total into your account. So that's how it works. Very cool setup over at CoolBet, and we'll catch up with Chris Abbott on Thursday's episode of Two Guys and a Goalie. Boys, a couple late night for a few of you guys on post game tonight. So Kass and Hernan,
that sucks.
You get some sleep later on tonight, and we'll talk to you on Thursday, boys.
Sounds good.
Later, boys.